a little bit, you know, a little bit of cash before they head off to school and be like, hey, dude, if you're down to work for like 3 days, you can make a couple $100, you know? I was talking to Peter yesterday, like, how's your show? He's like, oh, it's been awesome. You know, Peter worked 2.5 days, made over $1,000, you know, recommended him out. We were just like talking about stuff, but we need some extra hands. So we were going through a list last night. And one of the things I'm going to do later today is reach out to like every freaking old rep, send a memo out and just say, hey, dude, if you can find an order, you know, like any Christmas gifts, anyone who's willing to help for the cause. We are at a point right now where we can do something that's never been done, $1 million summer, which is freaking incredible, by the way, like to do that. It's absolutely incredible, but it's not going to be easy. And so we really need everyone coming together and sharing that with customers too, as you're hitting your goals, that, you know, sharing your goals this week, saying, by the way, my office right now, we are on pace to be at about $800,000 this week. We have, and you can just say, I mean, basically we have 250,000 to go. I think with what we tabbed, we should be somewhere in the 740 as of last night's Rolo, something like that, right?
A little less.
Okay,
like
so
7,
we were 620 something. We sent off 85 or 86.
Yeah, 730 is where it should be.
Okay, so and then yesterday we had 24 grand online. So
that's including the 24 grand. 620 plus 86
is
706.
Yeah, it's more like 710 plus 24, 735. Okay, so 735 is where we're sitting at right now. So for you guys, sharing that with customers too, and for them to be like, but a lot of, obviously, especially in Texas, I feel like people here take so much pride, like Texas pride, and like, you know, being the best state, whatever, and be like, it's never been done here, Miss Jones. Be like, so even you, anything that you get today, you are helping create history, you know, put something in the books for being part of the first office in company history to ever do that. So anyway, it's really exciting. And so I was sitting up last night, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, we were like so there. I'm like, this sucks. Cause it's like, we're just going to hit it, which is going to be amazing, or we're just going to miss it. It's like, what? Like we've worked so hard. And I know we've had some hiccups through the summer, but right now for us, you know, as a Warriors, it's all about finishing strong. And it's finishing strong this week. And it's figuring out a game plan for you guys, whether it's 2 days a week, 3 days a week, you know, for these last couple of weeks as you transition and get ready for school, getting some extra hands to come in who are down to grind for 3, 4, 5 days, maybe longer. You know, they're like, hey, I'll work for 2 weeks, you know, before classes start on the 29th. Some people start classes on the 22nd, but really anyone and everyone, siblings, parents, anyone who wants to come in. And I say that and you can kind of laugh, but we literally had that happen in Miami when we were going for a goal. I had 3 of my guys' moms coming to training, by the way. So they were like, all right, I'll help out. I was like, tell your parents, tell your moms, you know, like I knew some of the stay-at-home moms, like if they are down to help us out for a couple days. And we had Mariana's mom come in. We had one of our other girls' moms come in, and then Miss Silva come in. It was awesome, you know, but they were just telling them, we're like, we got to win #1. So it was a lot of fun. So anyway, we are in an incredible place. I'm so proud of where we're at. We're going to end up doubling last summer's sales, by the way, which is pretty awesome. We were, you know, an office like in this Houston area, period. I think in the state, but definitely in the Houston area, there hadn't even been an office to do $1 million in a year in like over 7 years or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I think I got like or I think actually I'm lying. I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, like 2011, I think was the last time. So that's pretty cool for us to have come here from scratch in April and really build something like that. And it wasn't, you know, we were talking last night, like we have such a sexy group of people, you know, we're like looking at the roster, I'm like, oh my God, like I can't wait for next year. Like we built such a great group in Miami that was there for years together, and figuring out, you know, what role everybody plays. And I'll talk about this later when I go through GCLA stuff. But one of our things is we go for next year. Next year, we're winning the freaking Silver Cup. We're winning national championship as a division. That shit's going down. And then as an office for new business, like that is the focus next year is 2 national.
We could probably win the overall. We have like 13 studs to sit there selling next summer.
We're going to break down numbers. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a battle, but it's next year's, it's our year. We're back, which is going to be exciting. So we won national titles back to back, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. We moved here in 2015 and obviously took a step back, leaving our team behind, and rebuilt, but had the first $1 million office here in some time. And then right now doing something that's just never even been touch, going for $1 million summer. And as we're building for this next year, and I'm excited about the layers and having our, our guys in the field who are leading in the field and our Cutco sales professionals. And then we have our guys who are excited about learning how to start up a company and running branches and then going out and freaking making 50% commissions all of July, August, September. We have our guys who want to go, district and run a year-round organization and who are going to be training and getting ready. And it's just going to be really exciting. Like I can just see everything coming together, and it just really fires me up. So I want to say thank you, for busting your asses thus far. Thank you for being here right now. We've got 3 days and a little to make some big shit happen. So so we're going to have Tay come up here to go through and do live. I don't know, Tay, if you want to go in the corner of this table, and I'll turn this here so everybody can kind of see what you're doing and not be blocked by all this randomness. If you guys want to take your pieces, by the way, and take it home, or have, like, our guys have had people, like, all the Alliance, like, sign theirs and keep it as, like, a memory that you have. If not, they're getting tossed today. Cool? So it's like, oh, yay. I'm throwing them away. So whatever you want to keep it so you have your board and have a memory of that. But Tay, thank you. And right after Tay, and you have 13 minutes, so just do it live. And any questions, and then we're going to transition. We've got Sharissa, who's coming on live, who wanted to say hello and kind of give some keys as we go into the last days as well. We were talking for a bit. She's like, how's everyone doing? Since she came to the last meeting to help us kick things off. And she's just really excited to see us finish strong. We have a lot of people, by the way, nationally rooting us on to take down the $1 million summer. And again, just what that is and how special that is beyond you guys to be a part of something like that. So, Tay, bring it on.
I would take notes if I were you.
Yeah, and I would just,
She's kind of a badass.
by the way, and just like the things that she does or says, Beg, do you want
All right.
Well,
There's okay, yeah, sure. I either sit or stand. It just depends on like where I'm sitting in the
look,
kitchen.
pretend like they're your customer. That'll help you.
We're a big
Okay.
family.
Hey guys.
Or like pick 2 feet. I don't know.
Well, there's no like specific way I start off. I usually start building rapport, and then I end up to the point where they're like, okay, like what are you doing here? Or like, well, like let me tell you what I'm doing here. And then I start off, open up my book.
now
and,
just do it.
I'm in the last, 3 days of this competition I've been in for the last week and a half. Everybody is competing for the national title in this competition. It is huge. I've been working my butt off. Let me tell you, I've faced challenges that I have never faced before. I have not gotten up at 5:30 a.m. since I was, in high school. So rolling out of bed in the morning is something that was definitely not easy for me. I don't even have class till 11 o'clock usually during the year. If it's before that, I'm like really setting myself up for failure. So not a morning person, but that's why I've got an accountability partner. He helps get my butt up early in the morning. He's the morning person, not me. And then, just Cutco's done so much for me. So where I've been in the company, I got a letter in the mail freshman year. Did not know what it was at all, but definitely needed a job. My dad was like, all right, Taylor, off. You're going to pay for your own gas. You're going to pay for your own food. And I was like, okay. Going throughout high school, all I played was sports, is my life. So I did not have any experience at all. So when I was applying for jobs, it was really tough for me to get one because all anybody wanted was experience, and I didn't have that to offer. So that's actually what really worried me. Going into college and coming out of college, I was like, who the heck is going to hire me? Because I don't have any experience. Nobody wants to see that you worked at McDonald's. Nobody wants to see you worked at a Barnes & Noble, or even, like some internship that has nothing to do with your degree. So when this kind of just fell into my lap, I didn't expect it to be knives, but I saw them cut through pinning, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll try this out. So going into my first summer, it was amazing. I grew so much. I really learned how to deal with, rejection, keep, my efforts up, put everything in. And as long as I was putting in the fundamentals, it would end up somewhere. And after that summer, I got to run my own business with the company. So we have this excellent entrepreneurship program. So my friend, John Austin, he says you either make, a lot in business or you make nothing at all. And so I wanted to make a lot, so I wanted to have the experience to back that up and tell people that I should be earning a lot. So that's what this entrepreneurship program did for me. I got to open up my own office with the company. I had to get the electricity up and running, pay the bills, actually learn how to save my money for the first time, hire trained people and really set them off. So it was excellent experience, challenges I'd never faced there before as well. And then this summer, I became recruiting manager in the division. So I usually have a Polaroid of Kathy, me, and Mary Lou on the cruise together, and I bring that out. I'm I love Polaroid pictures. I think they make amazing memories. And this is us, all hanging out on the cruise. This is Kathy. This is Mary Lou. I was let me tell you, they've been a blessing for me in my life. They've done so much for me. I would not think that I could, go where I've been going without the people that have been in my company with me. And that's a big reason I actually stayed in Cutco is I really value close relationships and people helping me grow and becoming the best version of myself. That's what I truly value and go after. And so having those people behind me is why I set the goal I set for myself. So I'm sure you're wondering what my goal actually is. And that's actually to break the national record. And they're like, yeah, really? I was absolutely. Now the goal, the national record holder was Tyler Park, and he sold $75,604 in 16 days. Yeah, I know that's a crazy number, almost seems impossible, and that's why I set it for myself. I wanted to go after something that seemed impossible. I was talking to my parents about my goal, and my dad was like, "Why are you doing that? You need to change your goal because you're not going to hit that." I had never had somebody tell me that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And that definitely set me off. I had not been this passionate about something since I played sports in high school, whether it was running lines or just preparing hours and hours for a game. That's how this was for me. I saw this goal ahead of me and I was like, this is something I want to go after 100%. So really had passion and fire going to this. So far in my push, I'm at 21,818. So I have had some progress. Now I still obviously have a long way to go. I need to sell 58,000 more in order to hit my goal. I know it definitely seems impossible, but I'm going to put all my heart into it. This goal means the world to me. I really, I set an example for people. What I love to do is motivate and inspire. And now going from the most that I sold in 2 weeks, which was 10K, to, being able to actually do that, my first 3 to 4 days on the job just showed how much I actually grown. It really motivated me. That's what I love about Cutco. When most kids, they get into a college or summer job, they're all given the same pay. And, you have those kids that work harder and they still get the same pay as these people who work, don't do anything at all. And that's so frustrating and so unmotivating. And what I loved about being in this business is I actually got to put in my hard work and I got to see the results. And that's what it's helped me so far in my push. My goal for this push was to be able to pay off school. I'm going into my senior year at Ole Miss. This is our Hotty Toddy chant. Hotty Toddy is basically like hello. So it's like howdy or gig 'em at A&M. We say Hotty Toddy to each other all the time. I'll be walking by people in the airport and they say Hotty Toddy and they end up screaming at me. Our school has such school spirit. Ever since I stepped on campus, I've loved it. I've known that it's meant for me. So going back and, finishing my senior year with the girls I founded my sorority with, that's definitely a big deal for me. So I've actually been able to raise the money just this week to pay off school. So like I said, that means a lot to me. That's $5,000 that I've raised to be able to go back and graduate at school this year. And then another big step for me was to be able to travel whenever I want. Man, I believe that if you're not traveling the world, you are not experiencing life. And so for my 21st birthday, which is coming up in August, I'm super excited about it. I can't believe that it came up so fast. I wanted to be able to travel for my birthday and be able to pay for it. So I've actually been able to do that through this competition, which has been really, just a blessing. It's been awesome. Really I put in that hard work and it came out. So I get to go to Hawaii with 3 of my friends. I'm really excited. My aunt and uncle were like, oh, we've got a place here. You can stay here. Just, pay for your plane ticket. And I was like, okay, I think I can do that. So paid for the ticket. And now the next step for me is just to save money. Everybody at my age, we're great at spending money. That was me. I avoid malls now. That's just really bad for my credit card if I go. People ask me to go with them to help them shop. I'm like, let me just leave my card at home. So it's putting half of everything I earn into savings. I want to start building that at a young age, start really learning how to manage my wealth because I believe that is something really important. But like I said, I really love motivating, inspiring people. I'm a middle child. I've got an older sister who's in pastry school, and she's actually how I heard about Ole Miss. And I got a younger brother who just got full ride to A&M. I'm such a huge, example for him. I didn't realize that he literally took everything to heart that I said until I started hearing him repeat what I was saying. And I was like, oh, like I need to start like watching what I say. So with my brother, I just really want to show him like, even if I don't hit my goal, it doesn't matter because I put in 100% of my effort. And I'm still going to be happy at the end of the day if I put that 100% effort in. I want to show my brother that with that effort, you can go after anything you want and you can succeed in it. You just have to put in, the fundamentals. You have to put in the heart. And that's what I'm going to do is just put in my heart these last 2 days and see what happens. Magic's going to happen. I promise you that. So just showing my brother that, and even my parents, that with faith, focus, and extraordinary effort, I can succeed at absolutely everything. So my goal today, is just to show you how amazing Cutco really is. I mean, it's awesome. Your friend, Miss Wendy, she's had it for 15 years. Didn't have to sharpen it. She loves her Cutco. So me, it's just showing you how amazing this stuff is. I absolutely love it. I'm a college student. I cook maybe like ramen noodles and mac and cheese, but when I saw these knives, I was like, this is something I want to have for the rest of my life. And next is just, to see as many people as possible. The easiest thing is to keep my schedule full. Easiest thing is to go to the demos. Hardest thing is to keep my schedule full. By the end of this, I'm going to ask to see all of your friends. Now, don't be afraid to give them to me. I'm really positive. I love meeting people. And if you don't hate me, I'm sure they're not going to hate me either. I'm just going to have a ton of fun, cut up a lot of food with them, and let them have a good time. And you just sitting down with me, it means so much to me today. I really just want to thank you for taking your time to see the knife girl. You didn't have to sit down with me, but it definitely means a lot because it's helping me already. So just diving into the demo then, this is where we got the idea of Cutco. Cutco's been around since 1949.
All right. Awesome. So what are things that stood out? I wrote down a couple of things myself, but from hearing that, what are things that she did during that process to kind of set up the demo and get them tied in? Raise your hand.
That last part you said where it was easy thing is going to the demo, the hard thing is keeping the schedule booked. That's all my customers know.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. I wrote that down as well. Just great seed plant for I'm gonna ask you, for everybody. So hopefully me, just planting that seed so they expect it. Jameson.
Saying that she inspired her little brother. I have 2 little brothers and they definitely I didn't even notice until just now, but they definitely noticed it. My whole family notices how much I work. So my brothers have been working hard at their jobs as well. So.
Cool. I love it. Yep, that was good. What else? What are the things you guys noticed about how she shared, what she shared?
She's very passionate about her goals.
That was the first thing I wrote down. She talked about what she's learned so far with the company. I think that's awesome when you're talking to Miss Jones to be like, yeah, I just ran into this and someone be like, I've already learned organization and time management and whatever. And so whether you've been here 2 weeks, you've been here a couple days, or you've been here the summer, or you've been here 2 years, what have you learned thus far with the company? What have you gained thus far? I always used to share with Micah. It was cool listening to her because I was just I found a random piece of paper on the floor. How she was like, oh, I got a letter in the mail. I always told him how I got into it. She's like, yeah, my buddy recommended me, or I got a random text from this Florida number. However, you heard about it. But just letting him know, oh yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I found this random piece of paper on the floor. I'm like, I would have never, ever imagined how much I would be learning from it and how many opportunities were available, and I always share, it's a huge student program. They have an opportunity, there's scholarships, and I share what was available, where she shared what she already took advantage of, right? Some of you guys haven't gone through that yet. You haven't had a chance to go through and run your own office yet. But you can share what's there, right? And it's oh yeah, I had no idea how much was available. Internships that were available, management internships, entrepreneurship internships. So really sharing all that. So that's where that would replace that, right? Those of you that we've talked about that, so she shared just kind of what the company's done for her. You're sharing what the company could do for you. Does that make sense? All right. So she talked about what she's learned. So for you guys, what you've learned so far, what the company can do for you, just how it helps you for your future. And so she was talking about all that stuff. And it was very personal. Do you guys see how personalized that was? It's not just yeah, I'm working for a scholarship, it's just very personal. And that, by the way, by sharing just about you, who you are, what she was doing there, that ties you into the customer. You can help me here. That ties you in with the customer at such a deeper level. Did you guys see there's a seed plant for product conviction? Where was there a seed plant for product conviction? Okay, a friend who had it for 15 years. And she said, and me, I used to only cook mac and cheese, but now I love using this. Like, I want to own everything. By the way, you might not think about that, but that's huge for the customers because they're like, wow, this kid loves this stuff so much and wants everything. Like, okay, let me, check this out. So just showing like, I love it. That's something I used to show my guys with Fast Start from when they were in their Fast Start, they would share and say, hey, Miss Jones, like I can win all this free stuff during my Fast Start. And they were like super excited about it. And so the customers like, that just like makes them be like, huh, okay. But it shows you love this stuff. So again, that product conviction, that's a really big thing. And then she said, and then she made him feel great just for taking time out again. Like she was just like, thank you. And like, this means so much and how much they're helping. And so these are all really big things, for you guys with your customers, because they see, like they feel good, about what they're doing. So again, appreciating them, making them feel great. And she was, talking about inspiring siblings, all that stuff. So it makes them excited to be a part of that process. It makes them to be excited to be a part of that journey. They know that when they're talking about paying off for school, all the stuff she's done, for them, it's like, wow, like I know that my money's going to something great. I know that this girl's motivated, disciplined, she's learning, she's growing, she's inspiring her siblings, she's paying for her school. So like my money's going to a great cause. Does that make sense, guys? All right. And so that for me, like I'm like, cool. Like I feel comfortable and I want to spend whatever I can. I want to spend more today because I know like not only am I getting a hell of a product, but I'm also helping this girl out who's freaking working her ass off to pay for school and inspiring so many people. So anyway, awesome job. We can give her a round of applause again. Great job going through that. So I want to say good morning. Many of you guys met Sharissa already. So good morning to Sharissa. I'm going to turn you around so you can see everyone. And Sharissa, there's a couple of you newbies in the room who don't know, but Sharissa spoke at one of our events. She's been one of the highest, most spoken about speakers from our events at the divisional events. So she had an opportunity to be at SC1 and was our opening speaker. And I know most of the guys, I even heard someone yesterday talking, and they're like, yeah, because the more you learn, the more you earn. And I was like, Sharissa Sosa. So just really cool. But the fastest growing CSP FSM out in the West. For those who don't know, she sold, less than $15,000. I think it was like $13,000 or something when she had first started off, left the business, came back, fought for a national title, just shy of winning #1 in the company that year. She was #2 in her league. And then again the next year, and is approaching, $500,000 in sales. Or did you pass $500,000?
Yeah.
Cool. Which is pretty freaking hot. So absolutely crushes it. But I'd asked her, she was checking up on us the other day, and I was like, hey, do you want to speak to us on like just closing big orders and stuff that, I mean, she's learned so much. She's one of the top sellers. And she's like, yeah, heck yeah. I was like, let's do it. So last time she gave us some goods on like mindset and coaching, and I really wanted her to give us some tips. You guys want pen and paper so you can take some notes. But Sharissa, you got 20 minutes. Handing it over to you, girl.
Great, awesome. Yeah, so I have some good stuff prepared for you guys. Do you guys do I have a couple of questions. Do you guys do the wish list, Kathy? Are you guys on?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, awesome. And just so I have an idea of like who I'm talking to, who am I talking to? So like what's the range?
The average person in the room is at 12, 13K in career. We've got some over 30, and then we've got a couple youngins in the 5K, 6K. But most of these guys were part of SC1 Alliance. So I'd probably say we have about 70% of our SC1 Alliance, and then we added some people along the way. But
awesome. Great. Okay, sweet. So some things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about how to upsell. And one thing that made a huge difference for me, guys, is so I sold 190 my first full year selling Petco, and I missed the #1 spot by $150. And if I were to do, like, think about that. If you sell 190 in 1 year and you miss your goal by $150, not just your goal, but #1 in the nation, like, you learn some stuff, So as far as upselling, there's just one small thing that I say every single time, no matter what. And I know that if I would have done that year, I would have totally crushed my number one spot. And so just kind of gives you an idea of how every little thing that you do really does add up and it matters. I'm going to talk about how to talk about, like, when people ask you sometimes in the beginning of the demo, like, how much do your sets cost, you know? Don't be afraid of the price. I'm going to talk about how to talk about $10,000 packages. I'm going to talk about how to talk about the sets. So I know a lot of sometimes, and this is just a lot of the reps across the nation, I don't think we do a good enough job of letting people know what people actually do buy, and we give them the choice of, like, choosing what they feel like they need. So that's something I'm going to cover. I'm also going to talk about what to expect the last 4 days of your push. And yeah, I'm excited. So when people ask, as far as the wish list goes, something that I say every time, no matter what, is Ms. Jones, this is your wish list. It's fun. This is for you to jot down anything you see that you like or would consider in the future, not just today. And then at the end, I'll show you what my contest special looks like. So anything that you see, just jot it down. And then also something I like to say is, Ms. Jones, if there's something that I'm like, you might want to write this down. If I do have one rule when I show people Cutco, and I pause, and she's like, what? I'm never going to try to show you anything that you don't feel like you're going to actually use. So if there's anything that I've ever shown you or talking about, and there's no way you're ever going to get it, please just stop me and be like, Sharissa, there's no I'm going to get that. I'll totally move on. It's all good. Just let me know. The thing is, there's a lot of things that a lot of my clients get a lot of use out of, so I'm just going to show you because I feel like you might love it. But if you don't, just let me know. So I'll say that one more time. I do have one rule when I show people Cutco. I'm never going to try to show you anything that you don't feel like you're going to actually use. So if there's anything I'm ever talking about or showing you and there's no way you're ever going to get it, please just stop me and be like, Sharissa, there's no I'm going to get that. I'll totally move on. All good, just let me know. The beauty in saying that is they feel comfortable stopping you. Like, if there's no way they're ever going to get anything, like, you're wasting your time and you're wasting their time. And there's no use talking about it if they're really not going to use it. You can't sell somebody something that they're not going to use. So also that gives you the open door, if they don't stop you and they let you talk about, you know, all the pieces in the ultimate or all the best things about Signature, like the flatware, if they let you keep going, that's your green light. It's like, okay, like, she's letting me talk about it. She's not stopping me, so she's probably going to get it. So that's something that I like to say every time, no matter what. I feel like it also helps my customers feel comfortable with me to just be open and honest with me, to tell me what they need and what they don't need. Because at the end of the day, what you're doing is a service for them. You're not doing this appointment. I know we're in push, and so it's like, yes, I got my goal, but you're doing this appointment for Mrs. Jones to bring her the most maximum value that you possibly can. And the only way to serve her in that need is to have total open communication. If she doesn't need something, get over it, move on to the next thing. You're good enough now to where you can sell her, you can sell her more, even if she's like, oh, I don't need that one knife or whatever. So I hope that makes sense. Did everybody get that down? Do you need me to repeat that?
The beginning part, one more time.
And then, one more time?
Yeah, they wanted you to repeat it one more time.
You got it. By the way, Ms. Jones, I do have one rule when I show people Cutco. I'm never going to try to show you anything that you don't feel like you're going to actually use. So if there's anything I'm ever like showing you or talking about and there's no way you're ever going to get it, please just stop me and be like, Sharissa, there's no I'm going to get that. I'll totally move on. It's all good. Just let me know. And I see it just like that every time. As you can tell, it's like in me. Now, when people ask you, a lot of times some people ask you, like, right when you get there, like, so how much does this cost? And you're like, oh, like, I haven't got the belt you yet. Like, oh, like, just say it. Like, you have enough time. You're with them at their home. They're not going to kick you out. So, like, don't be scared of the price. The thing is when you hold back the price for people and you don't tell them when they ask them, they don't feel like they can trust you because they're like, I just asked you a question and you bounced around it. Like, what the hell? I have a question. I might be in the market. I might not be, but I have a question. So never bounce around the price. Always have full confidence in the price. And it's okay to tell them because you have enough time to build the value if they ask. So when people ask you like, okay, so like how much are your sets? I like to say, and this is what's helped us, what it does is it opens up the door to like the range of how much people buy. And so it opens up not only your opportunity, but it opens up Mrs. Jones's mind. It's like, wow, people actually spend that much. Or I could spend this little if I needed to, or whatever. So something I say is, well, our sets range, they start at a couple hundred. Our packages go all the way up to 10 grand. And they're like, well, 10 grand. But yeah, that not only gives people their knives, but a whole lot more. So like we have packages, silverware and cookware, you get an amazing deal. But yeah, as far as our sets go, or as far as the company goes, and then we just keep it moving. Don't spend too much time on that.
That's just the range. So like our smaller sets start at a couple $100, and then our packages can go up to 10 grand. Can you answer that?
Yeah. We do have packages that go up to 10 grand. But most people, Miss Jones, most people spend anywhere between the range of like 1,500, 1,900, and not only gives them their knives, but a whole lot more. So I'll say that one more time. So how much are your sets? They range anywhere between a couple hundred to our packages go all the way up to 10 grand. And that's for people who want to like replace their silverware and their cookware and just never want anything to go crappy in their kitchen ever again. We give you American-made stuff that's guaranteed to last so that you never have to worry about things breaking or sticking or getting nasty or junky. And what was the other thing I said just now?
Most people spend.
But don't worry, Mrs. Jones. Most people spend anywhere between the range of like 1,500 and 1,900, and that not only gives them their knives, but a whole lot more. Now, this is a new way that I learned to talk about sex at the booth, and it's 100% applicable to a demo. And it's something that I didn't realize how powerful it was, so like how I presented it.
Hey, Sharissa, can you keep
selling a lot more signatures in order to.
Hey, sorry, can you keep holding the microphone close just because it has, I don't know if you're at the gym already, but you can hear like everything in the background, so when it's closer, it's easier.
No, I'm at Starbucks, but okay, got it.
Cool.
It's right here. So the way you present, like how you talk about sex, is very, very, very important. I think that once I started doing this at the booth, I was selling a lot more signatures and ultimates than I was like homemakers and galleys, because we were just not even talking about the homemakers and galleys. So these are 3 different sets that a lot of people like to choose from. What we find, Mrs. Jones, is that when people start with one of the smaller sets, so you can say like the basic homemaker or the galley, when people start with these smaller sets, what tends to happen is they come back to me, they call me back later, or they go back, they buy more year after year after year, and they spend so much money doing that, that what we like to do let me start it. They buy so much more year after year to get the set that they eventually were going to own. So what we like to do, and because I'm in my contest, because I'm in this goal is important to me, I'm going to give you my rock bottom best deal on the 2 most popular sets that you're going to eventually probably own anyways.
Again.
So we save you a ton of money now instead of having you coming back to like buy more and buy more, because you spend so much. The more that you get, the more that you save. I say that all the time throughout my demo, throughout my service calls. The more that you get, the more that you save. Not the more that you buy, the more that you save. The more that you get, the more that you save. Your words, you have to really pay attention to like the words that you use. The more that you get, the more that you save. So what we like to do is get you a rock bottom deal on the set that you're eventually going to own. What we find with Jones is when people buy one of these 2 sets, they're basically set for life, and you have like almost every knife you'll ever need in the kitchen. And if I were to recommend a set to you, I would definitely recommend the signature, or at least taking a look at the complete. The complete's for people who basically want like almost anything that Cutco makes. We do that for our customers and give you an amazing deal on that too. So, do you want to see or what I would ask would be, do you want to see the difference between like the basic and the medium? basically like the homemaker, the signature, or the signature and the complete. And then show them the difference when it comes to knives and price. Now, what I like to do, some of the knives that I show right away in my demo is the trimmer, the non-stick knife, cheese knife, Hardy slicer, boning knife. You guys want to write this down? Trimmer, cheese knife, Hardy slicer, petite santoku, boning knife, vegetable knife, 4-inch paring knife. Those I find are like some of the most valuable knives that like come in the ultimate and you can put into the signature if you have to. Are there any questions so far?
Can you go back to when they come with the booth, like the intro to that?
What's that?
I said can you go through that, like just the intro? Person comes up and you're talking about the sets.
Yeah, so when people say like how much are sets, they range from a couple hundred, and they go, our packages can go all the way up to 10 grand. And that's for people who want to replace like almost anything in their kitchen, cookware, silverware. You know, we do knives, and we just want to make sure that everybody has like American-made products that are guaranteed to last, so that they never have to worry about things like breaking and sticking and getting all crappy and dull. So we do amazing discounts for our customers, but most people spend anywhere between the range of like $1,500 to $1,900, just kind of depending on like what their needs are. And so when it comes to our sets, Mrs. Jones, if I were to recommend a set to you, so I already went through that part. If I were to recommend a set to you, I would definitely recommend the medium signature set, or at least taking a look at the complete. Because what we find is when people start with one of these two sets, you really won't have to buy knives really ever again, unless you do want to add on to your collection. Also, what we like to do is we like to use the big steak knives to leverage the signature and the complete. What's great about having the signature and the complete, Ms. Jones, is that you can actually do the big steak, like the restaurant style steak knives, instead of these puny little tiny little table knives. And it's okay to talk about them like that, whatever, they're small. So people feel good about the big steak knives. Not everybody does, most people do.
Can you say again, you talked about, or you said you did the transition into the bigger sets, but say when people buy the smaller sets, what ends up happening, like planting that seed again?
Yeah, so what we find is when people start off with one of these two sets, they end up buying more and more year after year, and they spend so much money doing that to where if they would have got a package discount, they spend so much money doing that to get the set they eventually are gonna own, to eventually get one of these two sets, you can say. They spend so much money, that's how good this stuff is. You have to like say that, like that's how good this stuff is. You're gonna get hooked, you're gonna keep buying more. So what we like to do is give you our maximum like rock bottom best deal on the set that you're eventually gonna own anyways, to get you the best deal, to help you out. Because I'm in this contest, I can do that for you, blah, blah, blah. And you use the steak knives to leverage the medium and the complete. So what's great about also, Ms. Jones, the medium and the complete is that you can put those big steak knives in there. So when you're entertaining, it looks so sexy, like to have it out on the counter and the big steak knives. It's amazing. Also, you know, I always like to mention that like the medium and the complete, like you have a special place for your scissors and both forks, and it just looks complete. It looks like it's all together. And it's really important to really nail on the key knives that are going to get you to the medium and the complete. Because if you're only talking about those knives and they only come in one of those two sets, what do you think you're going to sell? One of those two sets. So boning knife, 4-inch paring knife, petite santoku, Hardy slicer, vegetable knife, and the trimmer, and the big steak knives, and obviously the scissors. For sure. Those shears are amazing. And as far as upselling goes, I'll make this part pretty quick because it's pretty simple. It's really easy to upsell you guys if you just know what to ask. And if somebody says no at the first time that you ask them for the upsell, all that means is you offered them the wrong option. That option didn't really fit their needs. So let's say they say yes to the homemaker, right? Let's say they get the homemaker with 8 table knives. Cool, let's say maybe you know like they had their eye on the big steak knives, or on their wish list they have the gardening tools, or maybe they have this or that. By the way, Ms. Jones, just so you know, like because you're getting what you're getting, you are a perfect, this is really important, you are a perfect candidate to add on anything at an amazing, amazing deal.
Yeah, so
Now, candidate is one of those words that when people use it, you're like, I gotta do that. Right? You're a perfect candidate for this surgery. Right? Okay, I gotta do that. You're a perfect candidate for this thing. Right? I gotta do that. Mrs. Jones, just so you know.
Hey, can you rewind? So you're like, because you bought this, good.
Just so you know, Ms. Jones, because you're getting this set today, or because you're getting this, you are a perfect candidate to add anything on at an amazing, amazing deal. So is there anything else? You can ask this, or you can just guide them to it. Every appointment's different, so I like to kind of leave it open. Is there anything else, any other area in your kitchen that you need help with? Whether it's cookware, flatware, gardening tools, gadgets, gifts. And let's say maybe they don't say anything, but you know that they have their eye on the steak knives, right? By the way, Ms. Jones, I'm totally fine if you just want to get what you're getting, but because you're getting this, I can actually give you a really crazy discount on the steak knives. Do you want to hear about it? And ask them permission if you can show them, because that gives them, they feel like, okay, I asked, I was okay with it. Okay, show me. Because you're gonna, I can actually do the steak knives at a buy 3, get 1 free. Now, don't tell anybody that I did that, because the last lady that I saw was pissed that I couldn't do it for her. And that's when she's like, oh crap, this is serious. Like, I gotta do this now. I say this almost every time. Now, Ms. Jones, I'm gonna do this deal for you, but don't tell anybody that I did this for you, because the last lady was pissed that I didn't do it for you. But you're so sweet. You've been putting up with me for the last 25 minutes, and I really appreciate it. So I'd be willing to go out of my way for you. So if you did that, it would only be like $30 extra a month. It would be this much, but it would only be this much extra a month for your payment. Something I like to say to make people feel comfortable about making payments, because if you are doing appointments in the right areas, most people don't like to do payments, or people who like to spend money usually don't like to do payments. People with a lot of money don't like to do payments because it makes them feel like they're poor. But something I like to say every time I show the price, I always show the price and then a slash and then the 5-pay, and I circle the 5-pay. And I'll say, Ms. Jones, so yeah, your set comes out to, let's say, I don't know, $1,500. Your set comes out to $1,500. What's great about that is that you don't have to do $1,500 today. Even my clients who can pay for it in full, they like to split it up because we don't charge you interest or financing. So it makes it really easy to get the best deal and get everything that you want. So it's kind of like buying little by little, but you get it all at the same time. So if you wanted to do this, it'd only be this much today. We'd ship it out to you in about 10 business days. You do get a 15-day money-back guarantee. And I just lost my train of thought. You do get a 15-day money-back guarantee. And that way you get to try it out at home, make sure you love it. If for whatever reason you're not happy, we can give you your whatever, $250 back, and then you send it back. But by doing this deposit today, not only do you support American Made, but you have a full set of knives that you will literally never have to replace. You can pass them down to your kids. They're still guaranteed. And you get to leave something with the family, which is kind of cool. And then you don't have to worry about having dual knives again. So would you be comfortable making a deposit like that today? Or you can ask, like, would you use all these if you had them? Sometimes when people say no, you don't want to ask them, like, is the price the issue? Because it makes them feel like inferior, like, I can't afford that. Some people will be honest with you and say, no, I can't afford that, but it still doesn't make them feel good. You want to make sure throughout your entire demo, Miss Jones feels great. Miss Jones feels great about you. Miss Jones feels great about herself. Miss Jones feels great about the knives. Like, it needs to feel great in that kitchen for sure. So you don't want to ask them, like, is it the price? Is it this? No. So another way to ask them, is it the price or is it the knives, is just to ask, like, well, by the way, like, if you had these, like, would you use all of these here? And she'll tell you honestly, yes or no. So if she says no, that means it's too many knives or too big of a package or whatever. If she says, yes, I would use them, then you know it's the price. And that's when you call your manager to see if you can do a better deal. Well, Ms. Jones, you know, I really would love to earn your business. Do you mind if I show you, if I could do like just one more thing for you? Do you mind if I show you that? If I could just one more thing. And the upselling thing, you guys, by the way, it's I know I'm kind of bouncing back, but the upselling thing is something that literally when you ask every single time, you get in the habit of asking every single time, and you can add anywhere between $100 on every single order or $1,000 on every single order. As long as you're asking and you get in the habit of that. Just so you know, Ms. Jones, because you're getting what you're getting, you're actually a perfect candidate to add anything on at an amazing, amazing deal. So remember that gift we talked about for your daughter? Remember that silverware that you really liked? Remember those steak knives, the scissors, anything. And you can always, like, if you're not sure what to do with the price to discount it, call your manager, for sure. But make sure you're doing that every single time, especially in the last 4 days of push. Like, you never know what people are going to say. And like I said, if they say no the first time, that just means you offered them the wrong package. Offer them something else. And the thing is if you don't, the reason you want to upsell to your customers is because it adds them more value and it gets them a better deal. They literally save money because you're asking, and they get more things. So the reason I upsell, it's not for myself to increase my average order, it's for them, because I know that because they add these things, they're getting a better deal versus, because the more that you get, the more that you save. You can even say that during your upsell, the more you get, the more you save. But I know that they're going to benefit from it. So it's selfish of me not to offer it. Something I wanted to talk about briefly, and then I think we might have time for a little bit of questions, is what to expect the last 4 days. Now, how many of you have had some pretty amazing stuff happen in this last push? Like, you got maybe some orders that you weren't expecting, some good stuff, maybe some really crappy stuff. Like, it's amazing during push, and I know we hear this all the time, but I'm gonna say it again. The bigger the goal, the more obstacles you're gonna have. And you just have to know that. You have to be okay with that. I know that for me, like, if I'm gonna sell a couple $100,000 a year, I know I'm gonna have a really crappy week here and there, right? I know it's not gonna all be bells and whistles. I know it's not all gonna be rainbows and butterflies, right? And you have to realize, and like, you guys have been around long enough to know that it's up and down. But the more consistent that you are with your action, the more consistent you can keep your results. And so if it does go up and down, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect your wallet. It doesn't affect your mindset. It doesn't, because you're consistent. So in these last 4 days, I encourage you to be as consistent with your action as possible, as humanly possible. Like, if you are sitting down and it's like anywhere between like 8 to 9:30 and you're not doing anything, like, get on the freaking phone and focus on action. Like, who can you call? Who can you see? Who haven't you seen yet? I think that a lot of times we get wrapped up in results, right? A lot of us are very result focused, result oriented. And that fails us sometimes because we get obsessed with the number and we get discouraged when we're not close to the number. But the people who perform at the highest levels are action focused, not results focused, action focused. So just promise yourself that in these last 4 days, promise yourself, not your manager, not your peers, not your accountability buddy, promise yourself that you will be action focused in these last 4 days and you will get the results if you're action focused instead of results focused. And then something that I talked about last time, at my talk, if you were there, is just focus on your next step. Like when you're action focused, like what is the next thing you need to do? Like have a go-to, like already know, you should know by now, like what you're gonna do tomorrow. If you have a gap in your appointments between like 1 and 2, you should know already, you should have a plan of what you're doing. Maybe you're even just working on your script. Maybe you're just reading through your manual one more time. If you literally cannot call anyone, you literally maxed out, which I highly doubt, but there's always something to do to get you that next step closer to your goal. And also you guys, like if you get discouraged for any reason in the last 4 days, like, and you just don't feel like working, I've been there. I've been tapped out before. Like I've been like maxed out. Even this year, I could feel myself getting maxed out. I'm just like, I don't feel like working. Just ask yourself this one question. What do I want? Like, what is it that I want? What is it that I want? Okay, I need to get my butt up and go freaking make it happen. Because I want this thing more than I need to like relax or chill or be tired. When you focus on what you want, you don't really get tired because you want that thing so bad. So if you ever get discouraged and things aren't going your way, ask yourself, like, what is it that I want? And move yourself toward that direction. Put yourself in a place of moving towards that direction, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's practicing your scripts. Maybe it's talking to your accountability partner. Maybe it's just calling somebody that's on your chicken list. I'm sure all of you have at least one person on your chicken list that you haven't called yet. Why haven't you called them? It's the last 4 days of push. I'm sure there's somebody probably in your head right now. Just do it. Because if you don't call them, somebody else will. Or there's going to be a CSP that's going to sell them a whole kitchen at a show next weekend because you didn't call them. So be action focused. And if you don't feel motivated, start getting, and it's kind of flip-flops, but if you're not motivated for whatever reason, start getting results and you will be motivated. A lot of people assume that motivation, results come from motivation. Motivation actually comes from results. When you start getting results, you start getting more excited and you get motivated because you have results and so you want it more. Results create motivation, not the other way around. So ask yourself, what is it that I want? Be action focused, not results focused. Because when you're obsessed with the number, you beat yourself up about it. And it's not that you want to do that. It's just that, like, just consciously, like, you're thinking, like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm so far away. And the reality is, you guys, a lot of times when you do have a really big goal, you are really far away in the last 4 days, in the last 3 days, in the last 2 days. You're like, how am I going to sell 10 grand in the last 2 days? I'm so far ahead. I'm so far away. Amazing things happen when you push. But when you really do push to where I'm saying you're maximizing, squeezing every single minute out of your day to get you closer to that goal. So whether that means getting better at your demo, calling that person you haven't called before, talking to your neighbors, like getting that one extra knife. Like if you are literally like crawling and inching to do everything that you can to get there, amazing miracles will happen. I promise you, you're gonna have your biggest day ever. You're gonna have your biggest orders ever. Like people are gonna call you out of the blue, but only if you can look at yourself at the end of the push in the mirror and know that you did your best. Like really know that you maximized your time and did your best. That's a win. That's a win. And also just one thing, one thing I was just going to talk about, like getting early demos and late demos.
By the way,
if you need to squeeze in like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more, you can always do like people do wake up at, early, 5 o'clock, 6
By
o'clock.
the way, she went to Starbucks first at 5 a.m. She's in California, so she's 2 hours behind. So you guys can say thank you because she got her up super early.
You got it. All I was going to say was people do wake up early, especially moms and dads, because they have kids driving them crazy at like 5. So don't be afraid to ask. Like, missions, like I feel, and just be honest, like I feel really bad asking, but I really only need to squeeze 2 more appointments before the end of the week, and I only have 2 slots open. Is there any possible way you'd be able to see me at 7:30, at 8 o'clock, at 8:30? Is there any way you'll be able to see me at 9 o'clock tonight? I promise it'll be super quick. You're gonna love me. It'll be awesome. Is there any way you could do that for me? Pretty please. It would mean the world to me. The only way you're gonna find out if people can see you at those times, if that's the only time you have open, you better freaking nail it. You better get something in there. So don't be afraid to ask, because if you never ask, the answer will always be no. And just doing those 1 or 2 extra appointments a day, like 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night, is gonna get you closer. That might be the slight edge that you need to get you to the next step.
Yep. Cool. Well, any other last things? Because we need to get on the phones to pick up some more demos.
This whole thing is recorded, right? Because I just want to look at it and take really good notes.
No, that's what I got.
I just talk really fast, and I understand that because I talk really fast. But
No, we recorded. She was just saying that she was hoping this was recorded because you talk really fast, and she wanted to like listen to it again. And I said, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, she recorded it on her end through this, so she'll send that, and then I have the Ghetto recording off of my live stream that's recording, so you can also hear that. So, by the way, thank you again so much for taking time out and getting up early for us. I know you didn't have to, so I really appreciate it, and I know you're working hard on your purpose and giving back, and definitely we appreciate you taking time for us. So,
Absolutely, my pleasure. Have an amazing day.
all right, bye. All right, awesome. So I want to end with this. I love this, so I'm going to play it for you. Actually, no, we're not going to watch that one anymore because it's, by the way, have you guys seen this before?
God, it's the most inspirational video we'll ever see.
It's pretty awesome. I'm going to post it in our group and you can like watch it. But it's just really cool because this guy has no arms or legs and does like a lot of crazy things.
Do like trick shots at the mannequin.
But no, this is 1 minute. Let's see here.
Can we like send links to the video? I want to like take notes before I go on demos today. That shit was good.
I can send it to you.
Cool. Minor things.
And this load. It is, and that's something, and Tay knows, and this is her 3rd summer.
I'm too weak. Oh, too big. I ate too much for breakfast. Got a headache. It's raining. My dog is sick. I can't right now.
It's literally like 1 minute. I want it to load. So I'll say this while this is like loading. She knows it's little, as you keep developing the business, it's just little tweaks here and there that make such a big difference. And again, it all goes back to that whole like trajectory thing, you know? So this is,
a headache. It's raining. My dog is sick. I can't right now. I'm not inspired. It makes me smell bad. I'm allergic to stuff. I'm fat. I'm thin. It's too hot. I'm not right. I've got shin split, headache. I'm distracted. I'm exerting myself too much. I'd love to really, but I can't. I just can't. My favorite show is on. I got a case of Monday, the Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't want to do this. I do something else. New Year. Next week, I make a mistake. Got homework. I feel bloated. I have gas. I got a hot day. Coach hates me. Almost.
Dang it.